Hi everyone, welcome to episode 46 of Charting from Blank, a series where I start on a completely blank sheet and we work our way down from the higher time frame all the way down to the lower time frame until we find a level of interest. Today's episode is going to be on Link, a coin that's been around for a while now, quite a few years. I guess you could say it's a dino coin in this cycle. Been through 2017 cycle and obviously had that crazy rally in 2020 and 2021. Last couple of years has not done so much since November. We're actually trading the same price it was back in November 23. You know, when we compare that to what a lot of coins went through and where they're trading now, especially the likes of Bitcoin, obviously it's been heavily underperforming. It is a coin that I think can get a rally going into this cycle. If altcoins do see a really good window of opportunity over the next few months and into Q4, I'm fairly sure Link can be a good performer, and I will discuss a few reasons why. But for now, we're going to start on the higher time frame. Like I said, we work our way down, and we'll discuss some levels that are worth mentioning. So clearly, we can see there's a yearly resistance right at 19.54. Obviously, every 12 months we get that yearly close. So a positive close for Link could be above this 19.54 area. You know, it's struggled to get above this whole region. Let's call it $20. Link needs to close above $20 and potentially we can look at, you know, trading to fresh all-time highs. Quarterly, again, we can see a bit of a quarterly support at the $20 and then, you know, flip for resistance. Now, this has clearly been a difficult place for Link over the past 2 years, failing to close above the $20 level on the yearly, above the quarterly as well. So definitely an interesting place for it. You know, like I said, it's been in range for about 2 years now, basically since November, just under 2 years. So it's worth keeping an eye on a potential range break from this. Similar to what it done back in sort of 2022 to that October break, right? When it went on a range for about a year and a half, I think it was. Yeah, almost 600 days. So a year and a half and finally got that range break and since then we're just re-bracketing. On the monthly, it found some really nice support actually towards this 1185 region. I quite like this monthly consolidation into support, especially because what you also have is technically like a break of structure here. So, you know, we've got like the high, low, high, you know, potentially forming now a high low here to rally to a new high, which would obviously be really nice for Link. Momentum on the monthly looks fine as well, stable for now. So no signs of like maybe us putting in like a redrive bear div, right? For now, that looks fine. Obviously, that if we rallied up here, that'd be much later down the line that we would assess a potential bear div. But for now, yeah, quite a nice consolidation on the monthly into this area. That's good, like monthly structure. I would kind of expect Link to trade towards $20 here, just, you know, back towards that opposing side of the range, right? In range, makes sense to bracket between this area. Let's look at the volume profile for it. Might need to expand it a little bit. Expanding this. I mean, yeah, you got that high volume low poke back towards 8. I'm unsure whether you would get that low, but if you did get towards $8, that would definitely be a really nice opportunity to buy Link. Probably a sweep under this monthly low, but for now, yeah, volume is pretty flat up here. There's not too much to comment on. We draw it like this, yeah. So big volume being done towards this range low area, which is nice. It shows that there's buyers willing to step in here towards that range low. We can see there's high volume no POC here towards range low, so a nice place to bounce again, sort of into that monthly demand, high volume node POC. So yeah, overall it's looking pretty good for Link for continuing to move up, and definitely think that we should be trying to take a continuation trade towards 20 and maybe even $26 over the next couple months. Let's get rid of that volume profile now. Looking at the weekly, clearly some more resistance here towards $17. So obviously the monthly there was a bit of a gap, but now we're looking at definitely some more resistance right now towards this 17.5 region. So maybe a little bit of a cautious place to be a buyer on Link. You know, a good place maybe to look for a reversal before we form some sort of like higher low, and then we can trade towards that $20 to $26 region. That would be a really nice scenario right now, I think, for Link. You know, obviously if it can flip 17.5 and if it can flip $20, then yeah, we're going to be looking at a good breakout for Link. You know, it's got that, looks like it has broken from this sort of meme line. How long is that? 200-day downtrend and meme line being broken from Link. We can see a similar thing happened back towards our November bottom as well, right? As soon as we got the meme line, we saw Link put in 200% move. So yeah, definitely should consider some continuation from here. But the question is, you know, where? I think it does make sense maybe that we do see a bit of a rejection to 17.5 pullback, where we can look to go long on the pullback, targeting 20. Like I said, maybe back towards that $26 region. Pretty sure if Link does flip 20, it can make a move for this $33 area. I don't think it would run short of these highs if we broke out again. I think that would be the next sort of like liquidity point of interest, would be back towards like 26, 30, 33. So let's say there's a scenario where we don't get that pullback that I'm looking for, and which we'll discuss on the daily and the lower time frame in a minute. Definitely look for Link to reclaim the 19, because also what you have right now is this structure on Link on the weekly, that this tends to be sort of like a bearish structure for me, right? Or what people like to call like head and shoulders, like left shoulder, the head, and then you got the right shoulder, right? So this sort of price action can be quite bearish for me. So if Link did reclaim $20 and invalidate this sort of like bearish head and shoulders, then definitely we're going to be looking at a much larger breakout towards $33. Okay, for now, makes sense that, you know, Link is strong. If we can get a pullback, then I think we should look for a trade target at $20. And like I said, if we flip $20, then there's probably a good chance it's going to go towards 26 to 33. So on the daily, we did have a daily demand here, but that looks to already have been mitigated. That was quite a nice continuation trade, 14% up since that daily demand. Let's see where the volume lies within this range. So we have a good amount of volume here. We don't need this volume profile so wide anymore. That was the much higher volume node. We got any weekly levels around here? We have a weekly demand just below this high volume node POC actually. So I think that for a pullback, this actually looks like a really nice place to be a buyer on Link into like 14.4, because you have this like good amount of volume here that we've broken through now, and you also have this weekly demand area. And like I said, I think it makes sense that if we did pull back, we look for a higher low to target, you know, back towards this range high and $20. And then if we start to flip there, then yeah, we can look at targeting much higher. So yeah, for now, this probably looks like the best trade to take for a limit on Link. Look at putting a limit back towards 14.32 down to $14. You have this weekly demand area here and this high volume node POC. Looking at putting in a higher low here, right? So higher low, higher low, higher low. Let's see if the trend can continue. I'm sweeping under this low and grabbing some liquidity before trading towards $20. So obviously, if we're starting to anticipate that we might be getting close to a top on Link, we want to check the lower time frame. Taking a look at the lower time frame, we can actually see that there's quite a harsh bear div forming right now on Link on the 4 hour. So as we move in towards this range high area, and maybe we want to keep an eye on some potential short triggers into some of these highs. If Link starts to swing failure pattern above these highs and locks in some bearish structure on the lower time frame, this could actually make a really nice short scenario. As long as the bear divs remain intact and we get a sweep into here, maybe look for, you know, some standard like market structure, break of structure, deviation and SFP for a short, and then target back down towards $14, where that would be the place where I would look for a fresh spot buy on Link. I think this seems like the best scenario right now. Looking for shorts into $17.5 to $18. If we get a nice trigger into there, I won't short blindly personally, but shorts in towards $17.5 to $18, and then looking at longing back down towards this $14.5 to $14 region with a target of $17.5 and $20. Like I said, on the higher time frame, if Link can flip $20, there's a good chance it's going to trade all the way to the 30 and 26 to 30 and above there. That pretty much wraps it up for this week's Charting from Blank episode. A quite efficient one, and I quite like this chart. Remember that Link is in range right now, even though we have got that breakout on the daily, it is in range. So, you know, we'll continue to look at reversals towards range high and then reversals back towards this $14 region. I think there's a nice amount of liquidity to grab under here. We did see a market-wide pullback. That looks like the spot to be a buy on Link. Make sure you check out the socials in the link below. Link to join the Discord is also down there, doing these sort of analysis every day in the Discord, live trades, live streams, and much more. I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.